People are strange.
Strange.
Fucking strange.
Is that strange?
That is strange.
Strange.
That is strange.
Wow, that is strange. This is strange.
And welcome back to another episode of Strange Sauna. A new pope is here. There's white smoke, Flex. We have a brand new pope. You can actually see him on our screen. We have him right down there. His name's Donald Trump. He's our brand new pope, everybody.
His name's Donald Popey.
Yes, Donald the Pope. So, hey, we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot to tie in with the 88 number. I know we kind of mentioned it on a couple episodes back when we were talking about the Pope dying. So, yes, Flex, what are your thoughts about this new Pope right off the bat?
Well, I mean, this guy moved to the ranks pretty quick. I think he became an archbishop in 2022 or 2023. And next thing you know, this dude was voted in. He's American, which is the first time ever, which surprises me. I thought it would be, we've always talked about the Black Pope coming in. So no, they got
right. Yeah, we talked about this right before we went live. Like the Peter the Roman, we thought it was going to be a black dude named Peter. Literally the Black Pope, but no.
Yeah,
this is who it was. Everybody, it was Pope Trump. So he posts this picture like last week, and then now we have our first American Pope ever. So people are going like,
see, now I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's like, was he kind of setting the stage saying like, hey guys, here we go. We're
like just before we started, because Greg and I chat before and after the show. By the way, our chats after the show are pretty good. One day we might roll that camera accidentally and just play it out there. But we have some good conversation. We have really great conversations after the show.
Yeah.
But before the show started,
bullshit, man.
Yeah. No, we're pretty calm.
Yeah.
We have good conversations. And the conversation before the show started today, I brought up was, it's funny, but you're a president, and why are you retweeting or re-Xing this? And it's kind of like, it's funny. Old Flex, when I was into all this, would have laughed and be like, yeah, it's all code. Maybe it is.
Maybe.
Like you said, could be code.
There's a lot of it, though. I mean, he's saying like, I'm the chosen one. He's like, hey, I was saved by God, right? After the assassination attempt, and I put that in quotes, everybody. He said at the RNC, whatever the hell, like when he, was running for president and he was like coming out and accepting the nomination, he said he was saved by God to make America great again. So you can't make this stuff up, dude. Like he's being blasphemous /
it's coming right out of his mouth, and anything that he didn't go into AI and do this picture, folks, but he tweeted it afterwards. So someone went in there and did it. And it's kind of like, for Christians, that's a little blasphemy. Like there's a lot of people that are Christian and probably don't like Trump. And they're like, what are you doing?
Well, and it's like after, when it was right around Easter time and they were going after these indictments, right? They were indicting Donald Trump, and then Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these Christian conservatives were equating Donald Trump to Jesus Christ. He's being persecuted just like Jesus, our Lord Savior. Yeah. And then you had like the Dilly meme team put out this video where it had like an image of Donald Trump on a cross being crucified. Donald Trump retweeted that, even pinned it to the top of his Truth Social account. Yep. So it's like,
even with that Israel video with like golden statue of Donald Trump and stuff, and then he's retweeting it. So it's kind of like, listen, your country is still in the shits. I'm sorry. Like I know it's been 100 days, but prices haven't come. There's a lot that hasn't happened. If there's anything, more wars are happening now. Because I thought he was the no war president, and he got all these Nobel Peace Prizes before he left office, and now it's like everything's falling apart. That's what you need to be worrying about. You shouldn't be tweeting this shit, bro. Like, come on. Like it's, people are suffering, and you're just, it's great for us, gives us content and something to talk about, but people are suffering.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of touch on this 88 thing, because we kind of talked about it in the previous episode where the Pope died. So Pope Francis died at the age 88, right? And, we kind of equated that to the moon cycle, and the lunar eclipse. And then you have like a bunch of other things that kind of line up with 88 that I kind of want to go through right now, because somebody just dropped a very controversial music video today, and his name is Kanye West. And the music video
He's still putting out music, this guy?
Yeah, dude. And the video is the Heil Adolf, the HH word here, right?
And there's your 88 right there.
Right. And so he's constantly referring to it as HH. So you have here's a text, drop an HH in an hour. Can you stream? All this stuff. I don't know if that was actually from Kanye
Did he text
West.
that to you? Are you and Kanye like
yeah,
this?
it was, he's kind of like one of those things. Here's another account on Twitter calling it the visualizer of HH, highest quality version, right? So HH is literally, if you go A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, is 88. So HH is 88, right? So I just found that was very, it's kind of connecting, right? So you had the first pope dying at age 88. Today, the new pope was selected, and you have Kanye West dropping HH, the video. And so he's saying, okay, that's, it's kind of a stretch putting this.
Yeah, no, they all work together. So they all work together. Their marketing team is impeccable because they tie everything together. Right. Well, and the number 88 and the publicists and all that, they're good. All of them.
Yeah. It's like, we don't believe this stuff, but the gematria is real. Like, people in the high level occultism seemingly are tied to these dates, these numerical values, the astrological values, the signs, and you know what I mean? Right.
Yeah. Like we always say, when people say, well, what does it matter to us? And it really doesn't, if they weren't such psychopaths running this world. If they just did their thing and didn't do anything else but just leave us alone. But they have to. Right. They have to use their dates, their numbers, their symbolism. Symbolism will be their downfall. I don't see any downfall yet.
Yeah, me neither. I thought that this was interesting. So this was the last Pope Leo. So Pope Leo is his name, right? The new Pope right now is Robert Francis Prevost or Prevost. I don't know how you pronounce it, right? But he is entitled Pope Leo the 14th.
Yep.
That's what he is coming in as, right?
Born in Chicago is what I heard. Oh, right there. Born in Chicago.
Right. So born in Chicago, right around Barack Obama town. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Chicago's a big place. So who knows? But
he's been living somewhere else, South America somewhere for the last bit.
Yeah, so he went Peruvian or something, right? He's the first American pope, the first Peruvian pope, and the second pope from the Americas. Oh, the second pope from the Americas. Okay. But I guess he's the first from North America, like United States of America.
Right.
But yeah, he went to Latin America for a while. Yeah, he did extensive work in Peru from 1985 to 1986, and then also 1988 to 1998. So he was serving as a parish pastor, diocesan official, seminary
and there,
teacher.
like I was saying, 2023, he was appointed as a bishop. So he went from that to a bishop to the main dude in a very quick time.
Yeah. And this is one thing that I noticed is the 8 is tied around this guy. Is he was elected prior general of the Order of St. Augustine. August is our 8th month, right? So Augustine, 8. Very interesting. But
or is it, depending on what calendar you use?
Well, yeah, that's true, right? But the Gregorian calendar came from the Catholic Church, right? Yeah. So St. Augustine, August, being tied to the number 8, comes from this whole rigmarole, right? So Pope Leo the 14th, I found that this was interesting. This is coming from History Calendar on X. Pope Leo the 13th, this was back in 1810 to 1903, was the earliest born person to have ever been recorded on film. This footage was recorded in 1898 when the Pope was 88 years old, dude.
There it is again.
Look at this. I don't think there's any sound to this, obviously. But look how old this video is. It says like...
You know what? It's got better quality when I watch all my crime podcasts, and they're always like, yeah, we looked at the footage, the camera footage. The camera footage is always shitty. Right. This is pretty good this is pretty good clarity right here.
I mean, for 1898, yes.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if this has been digitally re-enhanced and all that stuff, but
it might have been, but what a different time. Dude.
You know, this is 88 years old, you know, like what are the odds? And his name was also Pope Leo. Like, what? He was the last Pope Leo before the Pope Leo we now have.
Huh.
Right? So a lot of 88s going on. So that sparked my interest, and then I went down the rabbit hole, and I was like, what other 88s are going on here, right? On April 7th, here, let me try to make this a little bit bigger so we can kind of read it a little bit. So you had, who was this? Hold on. It was right here. So Treasury Secretary Besant came out, or Besant, and he said the top 10% of Americans own 88% of equities, 88% of the stock market. The next 40% own 12% of the stock market. 12 minus 100 is 88, right? So, I mean, that's out of a percentage, 12%. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what are the odds that that's what we're talking about right now? Like all of these 88s popping up. And then I found this, dude. I found a collage of Trump tied to the number 88 with all of these different articles.
Yeah. On his podium, it would say text, and the number would have the 88 in the text that you would call.
Yeah, 80882 or 822 or something, right?
Yeah.
So check this out. I'm going to mute this because it's literally just like a music roll, but I'll play this and we can kind of read it one by one. But this is January 11th, 2024, Trump's 88 criminal charges and where they stand. And then the next one, New York terror attack. Trump took 4 hours to release an 88-word whatever, right? This was in August of 2017. I think this was after the Vegas shooting.
Okay.
Maybe not. This was New York.
But
this is New York.
Why say 88 word? You know what I mean? Like they have to put it in there. They could have just easily said, 4 hours to release his findings or his thing, but it's like 88.
Yeah. Look at this. An $88 Trump baseball draws Hitler suspicion in Trump org store. $88 Trump baseball, dude. Really? And they're tying that to Hitler again, like the HH, the Heil Hitler thing, dude. You know? Right? Let's see. 1988, the year Donald Trump lost his mind. This was an article that came out March 11th, 2016.
I don't know why I laughed at that, but
all right. Trump promises 88,000 year presidency in his absurd Twitter video.
I remember that. I remember hearing about that one.
Like, why 88,000 years, dude?
Yeah. It's like they're 9, they're 11, they're 33, they're 13.
Right. This just happened, not too long ago as well. So Bitcoin surges to all-time high above $88,000 on Trump White House win. It also went to 88,000 when the Pope Francis died at 88, right? Let's see here. What's next? So 88 former military leaders write letter backing Donald Trump for president. Why 88, dude? Like, seriously. This is blatant. It's in your face. This is September 2016.
Is it their way to tie him to Hitler because of HH and they know people might figure that out?
But Trump is also doing it. He's saying he did the video, right, of 88,000 year presidency.
Yeah, that's true.
This says Trump announces, or Trump says all 88,000 JFK assassination files released. No earth-shattering evidence, blah, 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 right? So, I mean, that's just kind of tied to him no matter what.
Well, the 8 is the infinity symbol. So maybe this is their way of saying we're going to control you for infinity. Like you're never getting out of this. Like this,
Yeah. Vote for me this one last time, Christians.
Yes. You know what I mean? I just feel like it must be something with the cycle is just going to keep repeating itself. And they're just telling us.
Maybe it is, dude.
In a fancy way.
Yeah. Trump's budget would slash HUD funds by $8.8 billion. Ask assistant recipients to blah, blah, blah. That was February 2018. It just keeps going, dude. Like, there's so many. E. Jean Carroll, remember the woman who she named her cat Vagina? You know, that lady? Her lawyers are beginning to tussle over Trump's $88 million judgment because she was suing him for $88 million. Trump proposes firing 88,000 IRS agents.
I remember that.
And reassigning them to the border. Analysis. Trump's claim that Biden lost 88,000 children, with many now dead. That was June 2024. $88 million and counting. Trump amasses huge head start for 2020 campaign. That was in 2018. Donald Trump effect. Picturesque $88 million mansion near Mar-a-Lago tops this week's blah, 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 blah. Wow. You know, I don't know if I have to keep on going, but you can tell this is a trend, right?
Yeah.
GOP Senator stammers as he confronted with $88 billion price tag for Trump's deportation plans. I mean, it's just, you get the point, right?
What's your take on that?
They're tying Donald Trump to the number 88. It's obvious. They wanted to do this. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, it's the Ouroboros, it's the infinity sign, it's the snake eating its own tail.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have gematria value for Donald J. Trump is 888. All right.
Well, that's better than 666, I guess.
Maybe.
That'd be a little too obvious.
Right. I saved this guy's post. Sir Escanor, the Hopium Slayer. He kind of exposed Donnie Darko a little bit as being like a Trump supporter as well. But
yeah,
88 is the number of time travel, infinity, solar cycles, and the beast's rise is scripted through loops, death and resurrection, Pope out, temple in, and Elvis. He said, let's not forget. So he talks about Elvis here. And remember, there was a weird like post where Donald Trump was comparing himself to Elvis. Like he had half of his face as Trump, half of his face as Elvis. So he's Escanor here is talking about how Elvis died in the 8th month. He was born on January 8th. Elvis Aaron Presley 216 equals 6 times 6 times 6. Ooh, that's weird.
That's a creepy.
Film biopic release just shy of what would have been his 88th birthday. All this other stuff, right? So he's just talking about how the Trump card was always the ritual, you know, all this stuff, making fun of Q and all this stuff, right? He has it right here. So here's the picture of Donald Trump posting, basically saying, hey, look, I look like Elvis. Maybe I'm Elvis. And he does these other pictures with Elvis, right? What's he doing?
When I see this, is this code that maybe he really is Elvis and then Elvis has got out of music? I mean, I don't know. Why tell us?
Right.
This is old flex thinking where, you know, everybody's been replaced, but Statue of Liberty looks a lot like Elvis. I saw that.
This is
too.
hilarious. Yeah, the Statue of Liberty Elvis face. That's freaking hilarious. Now, this whole I've heard Ryan Gable talk about this Lucifer. Oh shoot, I don't know if I can. Oh, there we go. Yeah, like this Lucifer picture and this Statue of Liberty. Mm-hmm. And people kind of misconstrue that because they'll usually like crop out the picture and just show the one arm raised, but it's like, look, Lucifer has 2 arms raised. It's not really the same pose there. Anyway, that's kind of nitpicking, but yeah. So it's kind of interesting, right? So you're tying in Elvis Presley, I guess, with 8. Okay, here we go.
But for Trump to post it, that's what I mean, right? Like he's taking stuff like the Pope, the picture of him as the Pope, the picture of him split, half his face is him and half is like you're the president of the most powerful country in the world. Don't you have better things to do?
Well,
Unless you're really trying to tell us something.
right. And like, I would think that it's just him, pitching fun and like, kind of pulling like an Elon,
There's
and
a
being
time and a place for
smart ass.
that when you've healed the country and everyone's free.
Yeah. Right.
You're not there yet.
Yeah. Where's our Doge checks? He said he was going to send every American
Talking about
$5,000.
Doge, is Elon stepping down from Doge?
I don't know what's going on with Doge, dude. I don't know if it's, I think
My friend was telling me the other day that Elon is out.
that was the word for a while, but I don't know if it's actually happening. Trump actually directed him to investigate the DOD, but then again, like Donald Trump just asked for like $1 trillion or like something ridiculous in DOD spending. And so it's like all of that savings that Doge found, it just completely wiped out and then some. And this is like the biggest military ask as far as spending goes ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Donald Trump is definitely not making the government smaller. And that's one misconception that Republicans have is like, oh yeah, we like limited small government. Yeah, yeah. But we want a big military. It's like, well, no.
It doesn't work that way.
It's not. The military is the government. So, yes. Anyway, going back to this number 88, right? Here is Donnie Darko pointing out that Donald Trump was suspended with $88 million 88 million followers on Twitter. And he came back. Death and resurrection, right? It's the cyclical. So he he died and then he came back. His account, at least on Twitter, with 88 million followers. Very, very, fits the mold there.
But again, it's tied to 88. It could be any other number. Excuse me. It could be any other number. It's not.
Yeah. So it's like as soon as he got to 88, and I'm pretty sure Elon Musk had like 11.9 million followers. So it was like the 9/11 or something like that.
I was going to say, there's got to be a 9/11, a 33, a 666 in there.
Right. So here is the Ouroboros, the snake eating its own tail. Although this is the Ouroboros in like an infinity sign. It's not really like the circle, but yeah, that's kind of the story. Let's see here. This was pretty interesting. So Donnie Darko has this whole thing about Trump being tied to 88. So Christopher Lloyd in Back to the Future in November 2022, he put out like this tweet. He's like, are we enjoying Doc's Twitter? My social media account is getting is a way for me to connect with my fans of the TV show. What's happening in my life? If this gets 88,000 likes, I'll stay. Right.
But I shouldn't be laughing at that. The 88's tied to the fact that it's a very significant part of the movie. So
exactly.
That's why he's able to get away with it. Why 88 in the movie? Don't know.
Yeah.
But he's tying it to the fact that you have to get the DeLorean up to 88 miles per hour.
Well, and not only that, but he said like when this baby hits 88 miles an hour, shit's going to go down or something. Like it's going to change the world, that type of thing, right?
And 88 is not very fast. You think for time travel, that thing's going to be a rocket ship.
Right.
To break the sound barrier.
Yeah, go Mach something. Mach 1, at least.
Mockery.
So, and then Donnie Darko takes a picture of this Back to the Future film, which is riddled with 88 and 9/11 symbolism. So, Donald, remember, is 119 in Jewish gematria. So that's 9/11 backwards. And then Trump by itself is 88 in simple gematria. Donald J. Trump is 888. So it's like, okay, wait a second. What? We got a lot going on here. This video is very interesting because this, so Donnie Darko ties in Donnie Darko with the number 88. Movie? Yeah, the movie. And he kind of makes connections between Donnie Darko and Donald Trump. So like Donnie is Donald.
I have to watch that movie. It actually was playing on my TV the other day because after I left, it just some other movie continued. I never sat and watched the whole thing, so I have to really look into it because there's a white rabbit in that as well.
Yeah, follow the white rabbit, right? You know what I mean? But yeah, you're going back to this before we start that. So the FBI raid, so this was August 8th, so 8/8/2022, right? So this happened on the 8/8 day of 2022. The FBI raid for Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate was on 8/8/2020. Donald Trump, or Trump in simple gematria, 888. Text Trump, like you were saying, 88022. Today is also exactly 880 days after the pandemic was declared on 3/11. Which is exactly 888 days after Trump's cryptic calm before the storm comments. Very strange.
And he hasn't said that comment since, has he?
I don't think so.
I think that was the real Trump, the new Trump.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's been replaced. I think it's a body double. He's just, well, some people will say the real Trump is in Cheyenne Mountain, locked away while they're fighting the cabal. I've heard that before. I don't know. I do know they replace. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
he is older. He has lost weight.
He's slow. Like it's like he doesn't have the pep in his step. He doesn't have the bite. And he used to have that bite of like, your government is doing this to you. These people don't like you.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this because I've seen it and I took advantage of it too.
And you think he would have that bite being like, yeah, guess what? They ruined me in the media. They stole what? They ruined America for 4 years. And he's sort of, it's been very underwhelming to say the least.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's overplayed, man. I don't know. I just don't believe him anymore. But so check this out. This is a video of this Donnie Darko connections. And we can kind of stop this at any moment. I don't know if this audio is going to be completely the full movie here, but... Okay, here. I'm going to have to hide us. I'm going to get us off this screen.
9/11.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, so release date was January 19th, right? Yeah, exactly, 9/11. And we got some math going on here. So October 2nd, 1988 was, I think, the day of the movie. So this is 10/2 plus 19 plus 88 equals 119. So very strange. From 10/2 to 9/11 is 11 months and 9 days.
Wow.
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds.
So that number is what he writes on his arm in the movie.
Okay.
28 days or something like that, right? 6 hours, 42 minutes, and 12 seconds. If you add all that up, I think it adds up to either 88 or like 9/11 or something. I think they're going to talk about it here. Oh, and that warning, it said right there at the bottom, the warning of the end of the world is delivered at timestamp 9/11 in the director's cut of this movie.
What?
Right?
2 minutes, 12 seconds.
So he's opening up this cabinet. Look, Donald Darko,
Wow.
7/24/88 is the day of this prescription. You add all that up, it's 9/11.
You see, now when I watch movies, I'm going to be looking for the 88 because I never really looked for it in movies. I was looking for everything else.
Yeah, same with the 923 code. There's a lot of 923. I don't know why, but
Is when the world.
from 7/24 to 9/11 is 1 month and 19 days. I don't know what 7/20. Oh, it's the day of the prescription there.
Prescription, yeah.
So, I mean, Donald is 119 and Jewish. Donnie's father drives a Porsche 911. Crazy. Okay. He's looking up into the sky. Something's going to open. I think there's a portal coming. Here, I'll just turn this down a little bit. There's a crash of lightning.
The basic principles of time travel are there. You've got your vessel and your portal, and your vessel can be just about anything, most likely a spacecraft.
Like a DeLorean.
Like a DeLorean, right? Look at this.
There it is. Yeah.
911 or 119. It's like they have that timestamp in there. Like, why?
Everywhere.
You know, I love that movie, the way they shot it. It's so, like, futuristic, you know?
And then right there,
Yep.
did you see the time change?
Yep.
The Twin Pines Mall, dude. 116. And it happened.
I've seen it in a lot of movies. They also did it in The Patriot, where he's like 9 ounces, 9 pounds, 11 ounces.
Yes,
and
dude.
the chair breaks.
Crumbles.
So,
it's the sign of things falling down. 9/11, the towers fell down. 9/11, the chair collapsed.
Like that was planned. I wish I can find this documentary where they talked about it being built and that it was built for the destruction. It was built for
the Twin
that.
Towers?
Yeah, it was built for that. And it was very interesting because one of the guys who built the place, I'm not sure who he was sitting there and his arms crossed and his watch said 9/11 on it. And it was like the week after it was built, and he was standing by the window, and they were these books on the shelf in some office, and the same thing. It was just they timed it for that. Like, it's a very specific date.
And it makes you wonder, like, with bridges that are going to collapse, who knows? I mean, like that day that Joe Biden was going to go to Pittsburgh to talk about
that's right,
you know, the landscape of like your cement structures are falling down, and then the bridge collapses. What are the odds? So going back to this, it's just like, this is a screenshot from Back to the Future, and as it shows the Twin Pines Mall in the clock there, it changed from 1:15 a.m. to 1:16 a.m. You flip that 1:16 a.m. over, and that's 9/11.
Yeah.
And you have this DeLorean going 88 miles an hour. Kablamo. Look at that. 88 mph all adds up to 88.
Wow. I wasn't even looking at that.
That's nuts, dude. Okay. And look at this.
No.
So as the DeLorean takes off, it creates 2 flame skid marks, right?
Wow.
And it zooms out, and you see this 9 of this Western Auto stores, and right next to it is the 2 flames, 9/11.
Wow. Never picked up on that.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh. No.
It's all over the place, dude.
Wow.
Back to Donnie Darko. Here we go. So this is the election of 1988, and you'll see Donald Trump on the screen here. Watch.
Make sure that we never again. Those are the values I want to bring to the presidency.
So you have George Bush Sr., CIA director, part of the JFK assassination.
Psychopath, the whole family.
Running for president.
Out of the White House beginning of January 1989.
So both the 1988 and 2016 elections were held on November 8th. 11 times 8 is 88.
What?
Right here.
Our current vice president and the next president of the United States, George Bush.
That's Donald Trump, everybody.
Woo.
Right? And so he's, Art of the Deal is 888. Donald J. Trump is 888. So this is where he got his account suspended at 88 million followers. You have the 88022
you said,
number.
Though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose.
Donnie Darko's opening sequence is set to Never Tear Us Apart by INXS.
Oh, no. Don't
INXS.
tell me. August 8th, 1988. There it is.
Yeah. So that INXS album released August 8th, 1988, dude.
Like, you're beyond coincidences because we're deep into like double digits here.
Right. 888.
Wow.
Look at that.
That's creepy, dude.
Isn't it? So Al Qaeda was founded on August 11th, 1988. Did you know that? I had no idea.
I'm learning too much today.
And so, like in the movie Back to the Future, it looks like this guy is trying to be an Arabian terrorist, shooting up
Of
with
course. It's the propaganda the U.S. has always had.
Exactly.
Calling Russia terrorists, like in Rocky V, the Russian took the steroids and Stallone trained naturally with a log.
Yeah, it's always these Muslim terrorists and these Ruskies. They're going to come and take our guns. They're going to try to kill us and rape our women. It's like,
and when I see that propaganda, and I'm like, you've just been making everyone else the bad guy when your military and your government, and there's good people in the military. I think that's why they suffer with PTSD, is they find out they've been lied to and they've gone over to start shit they shouldn't have started.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Like, I don't know how you deal with that.
For Rothschild's bankers and, certain other countries, right?
It's like, damn.
Damn indeed, dude. Look at this. Al-Qaeda is 888 in reverse English gematria. This is one thing I hate about gematria is there's so many damn versions. It's like, you can make anything.
I didn't know there was a Jewish one. Is there a Canadian one?
I think so. There might be.
888 stands for libtard.
Or something.
You voted for them last week.
Right. So we'll see what happens here. He's going to launch a rocket at somebody, I guess. Oh, okay. What does that look like? Donnie Darko.
Triumph?
Yeah, so on Donnie Darko's sweatshirt, I'm just explaining this for the audio listener. Yeah, it says Triumph, but it looks like Trump almost. You know what I mean? Like
it does. It does.
Trump origin.
Is there a white rabbit in the background there, or is that pink?
Look at this, dude. The origin of Trump is triumph.
No.
This is from the early 16th century. It's an alteration of triumph. Trump.
Holy shit.
Here, I'm going to mute this because I don't want to get any trouble here. So we're going back to the prescription bottle. Oh, here. Trump's going to be talking. This is...
In a bold and historic, very dramatic action to reduce the price of prescription drugs.
Oh, okay. So on 7/24/2020, Trump did his reduction of prescription drug acts, right? And so if you look at the prescription pill bottle from Donnie Darko, that was also on 7/24.
What?
So from 119 to 911 is 7 months and 24 days or 236 days. Prescription bottle equals 236. See, I think like this kind of stuff might be a stretch. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yeah. We can fit it. Prescription bottle. You got, but
I mean, the other stuff.
Like 7/24 on 7/24. That's like, what are the odds, dude? What are the odds?
Yeah. There's no odds.
So they can't be like a coincidence, right?
Oh, here's Biff. So Biff Tanners or Tannins? Tanner? I don't know. Pleasure Paradise.
Biff Tannen. I think it's Tannen.
Okay.
It's
so
an N.
the film editors or the film producers came out saying that Biff was modeled after Donald Trump. Like they admitted that. And I mean, it makes sense. You look at like the huge tower, right?
I mean, take that cigar out of his mouth because Trump doesn't smoke. That could be Trump.
Right. He's lighting the cigar on fire with money. It's hilarious. Yeah, right here. Back to the Future writer, Bad Guy Biff was based on Donald Trump. Screenwriter Bob Gale confirms longstanding fan theory that Marty's nemesis in the trilogy was modeled on the Republican presidential candidate.
Huh.
And so it's just like showing pictures of this Biff Tannen guy. Everything's gold.
I was just about to say there's a lot of gold in that apartment or condo or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, you put the Donald's face.
I was going
to
say it looked like Donald there, but they threw
hilarious.
some AI in there.
Yeah, he put a little Donald Trump's face on it. That's good. Okay. Cubs win the World Series.
And it's a moment 108 years in the making. The Chicago Cubs have won the World Series for the first time since 1908.
1908. Okay. time traveler equals 888. Okay. More gematria.
I'm Dr. Emmett Brown. I'm standing on the parking lot at Twin Pines Mall.
Emmett Brown equals 888. Right, so they're just doing a little bit more gematria. That's a lot of gematria, dude. See, like that's this, really? You're going to put the whole sentence in? I guess this is a sentence from the movie, though.
It is. It is a sentence.
Right? It says, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
It's 88 miles per hour.
Like, I doubt the writers of the film are thinking that when they put it in gematria. But, you know, well, look at that. Trump's election is 1 year, 92 days.
Yeah, so from 10... So this is the date in Back to the Future, right? October 21st, 2015. This is where they went to. From that date to Trump's election is 1 year and 19 days. What are the odds, dude?
That's just... Maybe they did write all this in on purpose, like all of it.
You know?
Like it's too much.
And there's the freaking creepy rabbit from Donnie Darko. So I'm just saying, like, that video, I was like, there's just no way. Like, what is this Back to the Future? Like, why Back to the Future? You know, the future proves past, that whole Q stuff. I don't know. What does this mean? Time traveling?
I think it's in a lot of films now. I have to look for that. You know, I wasn't looking for it before. I mean, I need any more things to look for when I'm watching movies.
Right.
It's all ruined for me now. I'm like, oh, there it is, the checkerboard floor. Oh, there it is, the Adam's apple.
Right,
yes,
dude.
everybody is a man.
So, and I mean, going back to this Pope Leo, right? So you had Pope Francis die at 88 years old. Remember, it's the death and the rebirth. 8 is the death and the rebirth. Trump's Twitter was banned at 88 million followers. He came back with 88 million followers, right? Now, this new Pope Leo, who the last Pope Leo was on camera when he was 88 years old. You know what I mean? Here, I'm going to add us back in. Here's another post from this 777 to 666 on X. He says that Pope Robert Francis Prevost will be 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days old exactly a year after Pope Francis died. He was born 111 months after Donald Trump. So on Donald Trump's 74th birthday, when Trump was 888 months old, Prevost was 777 months old. So there's just a lot of math going on here, a lot of numbers. You know? I don't know if it's just like so much to be just a coincidence that they don't think about this stuff, you know?
No, they do. I just sent you something about the P. Diddy trial, and there's a whole bunch of numbers in there.
Okay.
Because it's like, why May 5th? Why on this date?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And like we were saying earlier, to them it's very important. To us, we kind of just go, if you're not in tune with it, like some people are, they're just kind of like, who cares? When you are in tune with it, like we are, we kind of go, we don't care, but why are you doing it? You know?
Right. Look at this. Diddy's trial began exactly 33 weeks from his arrest date, the most worshipped number in Freemasonry. So he was arrested on September 16th, 2024. Yep. May 5th is the trial date.
Yep.
Okay. And then here he's doing the Andrew Tate
yes, he is.
downward triangle, the Donald Trump downward triangle sign.
James O'Keefe was doing that too recently in that cryptic video he just had out.
Right. So Sean Combs equals 33 in Chaldean numerology. That's another form of numerology. So you have New York equals 666 in English Sumerian. See how there's so many different versions of, gematria? It's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
What? So Tuesday, November 4th, 1969. Is that when he was born?
Yep.
So from his birthday to May 5th is 666 months. Ooh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is it? Dun dun dun.
Yeah, right? Diddy speaks on special codes assigned to celebrities. Oh, okay. Here.
I've been a studier of music, science, art, mathematician, the actual numbers and codes that goes into it. And so when they talk about the top 5, all of those cats got a special code, you know? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I couldn't even, I didn't know. So this is something I wanted to say to you.
Okay.
It's very, very important. I've been a studier.
Okay. Yeah.
He's not very smart. I can just tell. Like, I'm not being derogative, but he really isn't. Like, he's just the way he talks and he's just, you know, I don't mean you have to be Harvard smart, but he's a dumb cat. And I think I think that's why they're going after him, is because he's not intelligent enough to get out of what he's in.
Possibly.
Know? Like a Jay-Z is a little more slick Rick, you know, Beyonce, you know, even Drake, you know, but with Diddy, I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah, there's something there. There's something there. Something's missing.
there might be something a little off in his brain. Well, I mean, if you think about it, if he's guilty of doing what people are saying, then there's a lot off with that guy.
That's true.
Predictive programming. That's what this whole thing is about. It's like this predictive programming, like with the number 88. So here is a post again from this 777 is 666 guy on Twitter. He says, there is a book from 2010 entitled Pope Bob about a guy named Robert James Hanahan, Hanahan, becoming the first American Pope who takes the name of Pope Leo the 17th. Robert Francis Prevost is now the first American Pope and took the title of Pope Leo the 14th. Predictive programming. So essentially, like, this 2010 book named Pope Bob talks about this James Hanahan becoming the first American Pope. And he took the name Pope Leo, right? So now we have our first American Pope, and his name is Pope Leo. Why? And if you think about it, Leo, the sign of a Leo is in August.
Yeah.
There's that 8. You're tying in everything. So you have Leo. He was an Augustine or an Augustinian or whatever. Whatever it was. The Saint Augustine, right? But check this out. Like, this is saying Pope Bob by Bill Dodds is a compelling and unconventional. You know what I mean? Like, Pope Bob, what?
I like Pope Bob.
Yeah. It's just like this novel. The story follows Pope Leo the 17th, the first American-born pope, who grapples with a secret battle against alcoholism. After a drunken escapade in Vancouver, he wakes up on Seattle Skid Row, disoriented.
What? Don't put Canada into this shit.
And he's presumed dead after a papal plane crash.
But this is predictive programming. Like, they do this all the time. Like I was saying to Greg, I was just watching recently on Netflix the Oklahoma bombing, and when I've seen some articles this week come out, they're like, a book or some kind of article was written a few days before or a month before, where the lead character's name was the guy who actually did it, Timothy McVeigh. And it's just like, how did you write that in your book or in your newsletter months or weeks before? It's programmed. It's programmed.
It's programmed, dude. It totally is.
And they're very good. They're very good at it, because it's hard for us to ever prove it, because we have people saying, just a coincidence, just a coincidence, just a coincidence.
It's just like, you think all this white smoke is a coincidence? No, it's because Snoop Dogg was there.
Snoop Doggy Dog.
You know, he's lighting up all that weed, making all that smoke.
Like that, you know, get us high on some crunk.
Yep. So, yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting.
Some gin and juice.
I mean, what do you think about all these ties with 88? Do you think it's, you see something there?
I mean, after that video, It's like it's a number. I knew it was a number that they used, especially in Back to the Future, and I saw it with Trump a little bit, but not to that extent where I was like, what?
I mean, with Trump, all those articles, 88,000, 88, 88 charges, 88 former military.
I'm looking for 9, 11, 13, 33, 666, the most obvious ones. And 88's always been there. And I'm like, now I have to look for it a little bit deeper, but it means something to them. I'm not sure. I actually think it's like you said, the snake eating itself.
Yeah, it's the recycling. It's the death and the rebirth.
You're recycling the cabal. It's the same cabal.
Yes. Yeah. It fits, dude. What we've been talking about. Like you just said, like
you heard it first here, folks.
You did. The Illuminati needed a facelift.
5-star rating.
Mm-hmm. It's out with the old system, in with the new system, and it's all the fucking same system.
That's what I think it is. I really think it's their way of. I don't know who they're telling, but it's their way of saying, "Hey, we've rebranded. We redid. We rethought everything out. We still want to fucking kill you, enslave you, but we're going to make it look like there's a little bit of hope." But I'm like, hope for the Pope, Pope Bob.
Yep, good old hopey popey. So, dude, I mean, that's all I really had about all this. Like,
that's a lot.
It was quite a lot.
That's literally an hour of just like, there's so much.
Yeah. I mean, we got about 10 minutes. So if you want to talk about something else here at the very end, we can. Dude.
Well, I mean, what did I have?
I mean, there's that video by Shipwreck too.
This O'Keefe, James O'Keefe video.
Right.
So something shipwrecked, total shipwrecked.
Shipwrecked.
I like her a lot. We watched her last week, and she came up with a video today that really explains being like, you made this very cryptic video. And keep in mind when you watch this video, and if you can't see it, folks, because you're listening to us is boring. You got to watch us, folks. We're quite the show.
Get over on YouTube.
He's got his hands in that downward triangle. He's got it lit up properly. When he gets up, it cuts to a second camera. Look, I'm in film. I do editing. I'm like, if you were really worried about your life, you'd be in a dark room. And you wouldn't have two cameras rolling. But she makes a very good point here as to why we made fun of the social media or the news. What do you call it? Legacy news. What do you call it? The news that's been around for a while.
Oh, the legacy media.
Yes, thank you. The sunglasses are a little too tight on me.
Happens.
And she makes a good point. And I saw that it was the first video I saw this morning. I try not to look at this stuff when I get out of bed, but it just popped up. I liked her.
I liked it because she's calling out all these like new media streamers, saying like, "You guys don't fall for the BS here."
Yeah.
Right. So it's a good video. It's a nice slap to the face here. Here we go.
Hey, listen, we need to talk. We did not spend years dismantling corporate and legacy media, propaganda, and clickbait just to have it replaced by new media, propaganda, and clickbait. Earlier this week, this happened.
Showing O'Keefe.
I'm not suicidal. Pray for me.
Look at his hands.
Yeah.
This one scares me, guys.
But then
and then cuts to a second camera.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Exactly. So she's calling him out here. Right.
It was the dramatic underlighting for me. Then not long after that, this was released.
Showing another collage here.
They can't us all.
Nobody was buying it. Nobody was buying it. They were all like, just tell us. The point where Alex Jones had to get involved.
Listen, he's not being dramatic with the video you saw earlier where he said, "Hey, I'm going into hiding." This is dangerous stuff.
And still, nobody was buying it. So then this came out.
I told the crew over the weekend, I said, it's Pam Bondi.
So for 4 or 5 days, people have just been dragging Pam Bondi through the mud. And kind of, and here's the thing. I'm not a Pam Bondi fan. I think there's the things that she should be focused on. The Bindergate thing. That kind of solidified it for me. I was like, no, sis, no. But this week, Pam Bondi and Cash Patel, they took down one of the largest child trafficking rings that there was out there. And unfortunately, that news was kind of overshadowed by whatever the fuck this shit was. So what was this big drop that they were going to be doing with all the theatrics and I'm so scared and going into hiding? Well, I'd love to show ya. Prince Andrew was with underage girls.
Old news,
The
man.
same
Old
Prince
news.
Andrew that Virginia Guffrey, who had unfortunately had passed away a few days ago, that Prince Andrew, my guy, we already knew that. We already knew that. Everybody knew it. There's been like, the Queen knew it. She removed Prince Andrew from the royal court. Everybody already knew. We went into hiding for this. This is a 3-part series, okay? But tune in next week. Absolutely not. Touchstones deleted that portion that he had posted to X about Pam Bondi and then just went on with his day. He didn't address it. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. This shit has got to stop. We have an entire nation that is just broken right now and anxious and mentally ill because of the last 4 years with the Biden administration. We're burnt out.
So she did that in quotes. You saw that, right? The Biden administration, right?
Oh, she knows. She knows.
Yeah.
We're tired of breaking news and things are coming in World War III. We're fucking tired of it. I do not need to have my news brought to me in an entertainment value. I don't need that. I don't need that. Just give me the information. You don't need to drag this out for a week. Then you don't need to make us wait another fucking week for the next drop. If you've got something that is that explosive that you felt the need to go into hiding because it's that detrimental, put it out right now. This is so infuriating how you played on people's emotions like this. We're not putting up with that shit anymore. The days of Anderson Cooper and his little waiter standing in a waist-deep puddle talking about floods while everybody's on dry ground, those days are fucking over. The days of optics are over. We don't need this. That was so messed up. If you have information that's going to break things wide open, you need to put it out right now. No videos, no dead man switch, no theatrics, no underlight. We don't just put it out. The amount of people that were in the comments were like, this is mind-blowing information.
Oh.
This needs to be said around the world and
Probably
shared.
bots.
Some I'm mutuals with, like, some of you know better. So I don't know if you got paid to do it. I don't really know, but some of you know better. It wasn't some kind of groundbreaking information.
Right. So, dude, I'm right there with her. Like, if you got the information, put it the F out.
Yeah, because right now, I'm not even saying you're toying with their emotions. You're making people, you're pissing people off. And unfortunately, Greg, when I'm on Instagram and I'm not looking at this stuff on a daily basis, I have to take a break from it. But when I do go to it and I see this, I see something and I scroll right past it, which I shouldn't because I need to do some research. But I scroll right past it.
I'm there with you.
It's especially after what happened with Canada last week with our elections. If you didn't see that episode, I was very polite. Everyone messaged me afterwards and they were very proud that I didn't lose my shit. Do I have a habit of losing my shit? I tell it like it is.
Yeah, you just tell it.
Maybe because I hulk up a little bit, but it's numbing. And it's actually becoming a PTSD. Like it's just every time I see Trump now, I don't listen to what he says because I'm just like, whatever. I'll wait till someone cuts a video, then I'll watch the shortened version of it and then come out. But yeah, like just tell us. Yeah. And now I'm thinking we are awake to this. There's a lot of people, Greg, that still aren't. But that's not the way to do it because those people aren't watching James O'Keefe. Those people that aren't awake are still watching CBC up here or CBS up here, CBC in Canada, which is our version of the CNN.
Gotcha.
Where the liberal government's giving them billions of dollars. That's why they never say anything bad about Trudeau. So those are the people watching that. They're not on their phones watching James O'Keefe. So if you're coming out with a 3-part series, you're coming out on a 3-part series to people that know already what's happening. And it's like,
exactly.
Here's the Epstein list. And now I'm hearing that, Pam Bondi might be the person in the administration who's hiding stuff because she's involved with it. Just fucking say it.
Like, I'm so sick of this excuse of we need to slow leak this stuff so people can understand it. Fuck that, dude.
Oh, fuck. Pull the fucking Band-Aid off. And if you bleed out, bitch.
And I will say that is one thing that the deep state is good at is if they want a psyop, they will tell you the whole story, the nothing but the story, every single detail that they want you to hear. Like the George Floyd situation. Look how fast that blew up.
That's right? Why I feel the system is too big. It's rigged to the point where it's mass psychosis is continuing because the deep state knows how to run psyops. I feel like the Patriots or White Hats don't know how to run a psyop and if you did, which maybe back in 2019 or 18 and 2020 when I believed in this shit. Like, you just lost any and all followers of the Q movement. You made us all look stupid. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like shows like X22 will never question Trump. Like, everything that Trump does is just like part of this grand plan, and it's like the greatest thing ever, and it's this largest sting operation that you've ever seen,
bro.
It's like, you have to be realistic.
I used to fall asleep.
Right?
I used to fall asleep to X22. I'd listen to it, feel good, go to bed. I haven't listened to him in years because I'm like, bro, you're just regurgitating the same thing. They're shills. You become a shill. You know, there's certain people I do follow. I think he's funny, conservative ant, but he's a shill. He's a shill because he's ready. Buy this product, American First this.
Right.
I've got my hats. Greg and I aren't selling you shit here. We're just telling you, if we...
Not yet. We're going to get some merch.
Not yet. Yes, we'll have sunglasses and hair gel.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll have my wig. I got to create my wig like this.
I guarantee people are going to be that. And I'm still for sale, just to let you guys know. I'm not going to tell you I'm not.
Yeah, Flex is always for sale under the table.
Yeah, like Nino never got his stuff banned. Maybe, he got oh, don't do this again, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you got your other podcast you were on. You guys have 100,000 followers and you're growing steadily. You got shut down.
Yeah, shut the fuck down. And then, it's like these shows don't talk about Israel. Like, you have to look at what is going on with Israel right now. And I'm not saying that that's not a psyop itself. Like, as I totally think that it is on X. I think they're getting people to talk shit about Israel to use that as evidence against you later. So watch what you say on X, because
did you see? We had texted each other on the weekend, and on Monday there was going to be a vote on this bill saying that companies or corporations can't boycott Israel.
Yes, and
it didn't go through because it didn't even they took it off the table.
Right.
And it was supposed to be voted on or looked at the day of the Diddy, first day of the Diddy trial.
Right.
Which was just basically them picking jury members. Mike Myers, elbows up. He was talked about. His name was brought up into that and everything like that. But yeah, it disappeared very quickly.
Well, what's very interesting about that bill? I'm trying to find the bookmark that I had here. I listened.
Texted it to you.
Well, dude, I listened to Ryan Gable's show, and this was already a bill, and it passed the House before. Here we go. So this was
it?
Yeah. So, like, if you look at this HR 867, that was the bill that we were just talking about.
Yeah, that's the bill.
Did not pass, right? It was scheduled, but it was pulled from the docket. But it's the exact same bill as HR 3016. The same representative, Michael Lawler, introduced that bill during the 118th Congress. And that one also was touted as bipartisan. And so here you are. So this is HR 3016. So this is, back in 2018. And it was called the IGO Anti-Boycott Act. It was the same freaking legislation. Here, I could show you in the freaking...
Quick question, Greg. What does HR stand for? House of Representatives? Bill?
I think so. Yeah. Okay. Here, I'll have to search this up because that was a wrong link that he sent. But I looked this up. I was like, is this right? HR 3016? And yeah, dude, it was the exact same freaking bill.
So you're saying it's in now?
It passed. So it did not pass the Senate in 2018.
Okay.
So check this out. This is HR. Here, I'll make this a little bit bigger so we can kind of read it here. HR 3016. This is the 118th Congress. So this is the year 2023 to 2024. The sponsor was Representative Michael Lawler, introduced on April 28th, 2023. And it's called the IGO Anti-Boycott Bill. Okay. Now, if I were to look up, what was this? HR 867, the popular one that everybody's making a big stink about. This is also called the IGO Anti-Boycott Act. Introduced
by the same name.
Yeah. Introduced by the exact same person, Michael Lawler.
So the only difference is the number.
Yeah, and look, you can read right here. This bill expands the existing anti-boycott law to include certain boycotts imposed by IGOs. Let's look at what this one says. This bill expands an existing anti-boycott law to include certain boycotts imposed by IGOs. It's the exact same bill.
Wow.
And the House passed it in February of 2024. The House already passed this. And so why would they create the exact same bill and dismiss it? Like, make this big stink about it, have everybody share it around and make this big stink. What are they trying to do? Right? You have one bill that they already passed. They didn't even like make a big stink about this way back then. Like, I hadn't even heard about this.
No.
Until Bill or HR 867 comes out. And then HR 867 is the one that gets blown up. Everybody it becomes vocalized, and that's why they have to stop this bill. But they already voted on it back in 2023, 2024. So that tells me it's a psyop, dude. It's like they want us to have this talking point, and either it's like something you already voted on, and what are we trying to do? Like, maybe because it passed the House, but it didn't pass the Senate, they wanted to reintroduce it. So something tells me in about a year or so, they're going to reintroduce this again. Right? And just not tell anybody.
I thought it was they were using it to distract from the Diddy, or Diddy was being used to distract from this. But it was supposed to be looked at on Monday the 5th, which was the first day of the Diddy trial. So I was like, oh, here we go again. Look over here while we screw you over here with no lube.
Right. Well, and like, so, and we forgot to mention, like, this one was boycotting the Americans who participated in boycotts of Israel or in its settlements. Then they would ban that, right? So you couldn't boycott Israel. You would face up to $1 million in fines or prison sentences up to 20 years.
I don't understand how the right to people that are still MAGA just ignore the ties with Israel.
Like X-22 never talks about this stuff.
No, they just ignore.
Where is he? What's going on?
Conservative Ant, whenever there's a comment about Israel or your Trump guy, or he's not America first, he just blocks people. He just doesn't. He'll comment on, if you're going to say dumb shit, I'm going to block you. And I realize, because someone one time wrote, he'll block you if you say anything bad about Trump, especially ties to Israel. And that person took a screen grab, showed his comment, and then was down within a few minutes or an hour later or something. And it's just like, why not talk about it?
But now,
all you people that have a hard on for Dan Bongino, you know, he's like, what do you want most in life? To protect Israel. Like, we had that video, we showed that video. Didn't talk about his family, his health, America.
So now you have this. This is the viral tweet that's going on right now. It has over 1.1 million views as of right now.
I'm surprised it's not 8.8 million views.
This is exactly. It might end up there. But this is Megatron, and everybody's resharing this, saying, "See, I told you, Trump is just playing Netanyahu," which he might be. But this is not evidence to me. This is what he says. Breaking: the friendship between Trump and Netanyahu is over. Israeli army radio reports that President Trump has decided to cut contact with Netanyahu, stating that Netanyahu and his associates act arrogant and try to push around the president. Close associates of Trump told Israel Minister of Strategic Affairs Ron Dermer that the president feels disrespected and manipulated by Netanyahu, and that there's nothing he hates more than, quote, appearing as easily manipulated in public. And so what stands out to you when you hear this and when you read this?
They're just setting them up. I feel like there's a setup here for something. I don't know what it is.
Well, because to me, it's this. Israeli army radio reports, right? And then close associates of Trump told Israel minister, blah, blah. So you're getting this from anonymous sources. And we all know anonymous sources are bullshit. So if you're telling me this, you're not really selling me like truth here. This is more of like a hearsay type
until I hear it from Trump's mouth, or from his administration. But even then, they could say it. Nothing they tell us is the truth. It's a setup for something, which you said in the past, Greg. Israel, save Israel for last, and maybe it's to make them the fall guy on everything. Or
right. But this is being shared around. Like, look, you have the Times of Israel now coming out. Report: Trump disappointed with Netanyahu, will continue Middle East policy objectives without Israel. Right. You have AF Post. President Trump has, quote, cut contact, unquote, with Netanyahu, slamming the Israel prime minister and his allies for acting arrogant and trying to push him around.
Okay, that's the first step. Second step is they have way too much control in U.S. politics and corporations and media.
Right. But my point is, where is the source for this news? Source? Like, you guys are spreading this around and this is going to catch fire. I trust, like, there's going to be people talking about this. But where is the source data? There's no information here. It's just hearsay.
Yep.
And that's how things get the ball rolling is you have this viral post. It had 1 million views. I've seen it shared on numerous Q accounts on Telegram. And I'm going, bro, I thought you cared about sources. Like, you're going with, you can't see that this is an anonymous source has written all over it.
And we have to, when I say we, I mean like the alternative media, which is like us. You have to be careful, with you can't just put things out there,
right.
You have to be very careful, especially when you're talking about Israel and Trump.
Yeah.
Like,
unless it's a man being a woman, then I mean, all men are women, all women are men.
Yes, I just say, look at their bone structure and their Adam's apple.
Exactly.
And I said, hey, but it's for entertainment purposes only. And I say allegedly.
Right.
That's how I get around it. But there's no allegedly here. You're right. There's stuff being said, put in the news. It is not. It's not conducive to what we want as trying to spread real information and not fake news.
Right.
It's not conducive to that. You're making us look bad here.
Yep. And that's how these things get started. Is I think that's on purpose. It's like you're infiltrating the whole system and the movement. And the movement is even just cringe to say, but like just the truth, dude. Like you don't want the truth to be known. So you got to muddy the waters with bullshit stories that catch fire because it fits this narrative that people want, and they go, oh, well, this makes Trump and Netanyahu butt heads. So, yeah.
I think people have to come to the realization is we're never going to know the truth about anything. And you just take what you take a grain of salt, do some research, and, just live. Like I think I almost end every show with this being like, hey, you ain't getting out of this, but live your life. And, don't expect a person or the person or a government to save you, because they have ties and they have skeletons in the closet they don't want you to know about.
Right.
Which is pretty well all of our governments. Sorry.
Yeah. I think they're all blackmailed, dude. I think they're all selected, not elected. I think that it's like, it's all a master plan. And, I don't trust the plan because the plan is definitely not to include us. And, they like to get rid of us.
Yeah, the plan is psyop over on top of psyop, keep us distracted, keep us divided. I mean, like I was saying last week.
But that's what made this whole like Trump and Q movement exciting. And like, I wanted to follow it is because you had this hope that somebody in the government was going to do something about the dirty government. But like, it also made you to the point where you're like, oh, someone else will take care of it. So I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to go to my job, take care of my family. I'll just do my own thing. And like, they'll take care of the problem.
It doesn't work like that. Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
It's not how it ever
worked. To
win
and fight back, you have to do something about it, and I think with our trucker protests, they scared Canadians on protesting. So I never think we're going to have another protest again.
Right.
Because it's
same thing with January 6th.
And you guys had your January 6th, which scared people as well. Brilliant. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually hearing that the cabal started the truckers protest You know, like
Wouldn't
the
surprise
deep
me.
states started that, got the ball rolling just to have, you know, Trudeau bring in the Emergency Act, which our Supreme Court said was illegal. Nothing was brought. I don't even know where Trudeau is now. He hasn't been brought up. I have no idea. Where's Joe Biden, other than that faked AI Easter photo?
Yeah, they're on
Kamala's
island
kind
somewhere.
of hackled and cackled here and there. They just disappeared. Like all these people we wanted to see justice take part, hang him, shoot him. I don't know. It ain't coming.
Dude, even if they do, like, it won't be enough.
Gitmo's a holiday resort. They've made that a holiday. I guarantee you they're going to start being like, hey, come down here, vacation in Gitmo. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Trump wants to open up Alcatraz again, so we'll see about that. I don't know. Anyway, hey, great episode, Flex. You know, there's a lot going on here with this new Pope, so I'm going to keep my eye on it. A lot with 88 and 9/11. Everybody keep an eye out for those numbers in your movies and your TV shows and in the news, because it's
Pope Bob.
It's
Vote
coming.
for
I don't
Pope
know.
Bob.
Right. Pope Bobby. So yeah, everybody, you know, stay safe up there. Flexi poo. And everybody stay safe, stay steamy. All right.
Stay steamy. Sayonara, Kanara.